Greetings to you today on this Friday, the 31st of May, the last day of May today. Our devotion is entitled Anxiety with an exclamation point, and it comes from the Charles Dickens work called The Chimes. "My dear Alderman Cute," said Mr. Fish, "the most dreadful circumstance has occurred. I have this moment received the intelligence, the most frightful and deplorable event." "Fish," returned the alderman, "Fish, my good fellow, what is the matter? Nothing revolutionary, I hope. No attempt at interference with the magistrates." "Deedles, the banker," gasped the secretary. "Deedles Brothers, who was to have been here today, high in office in the Goldsmiths' Company." "Not stopped!" exclaimed the alderman. "It can't be." "Shot himself in his own counting house," said Mr. Fish. "No motive. Princely circumstances." "Circumstances!" exclaimed the alderman. "A man of noble fortune, one of the most respectable men." "Suicide, Mr. Fish? By his own hand?" "This very morning," returned Mr. Fish. "Oh, the brain," exclaimed the pious alderman, lifting up his hands. "Oh, the nerves, the mysteries of this machine called man. Oh, the little that unhinges it. Poor creatures that we are. Perhaps a dinner, Mr. Fish. Perhaps the conduct of his son, who, I have heard, ran very wild and was in the habit of drawing bills upon him without the least authority. A most respectable man, one of the most respectable men I ever knew. A lamentable instance, Mr. Fish, a public calamity. I shall make a point of wearing the deepest mourning. A most respectable man, but there is one above. We must submit, Mr. Fish. We must submit." Well, there's a discouraging story there, isn't it? The thoughts on this from Gene Fisher. The Chimes is one of a series of Christmas books Charles Dickens wrote, of which A Christmas Carol is the most well known. Dickens wrote The Chimes in 1844 while he was living in Genoa, Italy. The melodramatic text reflects the anxiety-provoking social ills of the period, Bad crops, miserable working conditions, child labor. Oh, the nerves. Poor Deedles, the banker, might have lived if he had believed what Jesus taught. In Luke 12:22-26, Jesus said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. Life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable you are than the birds. Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to his life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest?" In these fast-moving times, it is impossible not to be anxious sometimes. The problem arises when we let anxiety control our lives. As Alderman Cute said, quote, "But there is one above. We must submit." 1 Peter 5, verses 6 and 7 instructs this: "Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you." And Hebrews 13:6 says, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? The Luke 12 passage and the Matthew 6 passage go together so very well. The worrying that we do, the things that I think in worrying, what we're saying is we ought to be able to control this. Why can't I control this? Why can't I find the answer? Why can't I meet the need? Why this? Why that? What, the whole what and how and why questions fill us. And we're trying to think, how can I handle this? How can I correct this? And what we're saying is, God, I don't really trust you. I trust me, and I'm trying to figure out the answer here. But instead, after those kinds of things that he cites here in Luke 12, in Matthew 6, Jesus has just painted that same picture, Sermon on the Mount. Why do you worry about this? Why do you worry about this when you can't do anything about it anyway? And my life verse from Matthew 6:33 is, seek first the kingdom of heaven. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. And all these things that you worry about, I'm adding some to it now. But all these things that you worry about, God will provide them. If your life is to seek him, to know him, to follow him, cast all your care on him at the same time, because he cares for you. Come unto me, all you who are weak and heavy laden, I will give you rest. Take my yoke on you and learn of me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. That's where we have to be. No matter what comes our way, no matter what issues confront us or plague us, keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus, entrusting ourselves into his care, that he is our good shepherd who laid down his life for us, and we know he'll lead us in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even in the darkest of times, there's no need to fear, because he's with us. Even in the face of our enemies, he prepares a table for us. And we have this hope that we shall forever be with him. When I think those thoughts, my blood pressure goes down. My worries disappear. That's what faith is all about. That's what faith is all about. Having that kind of faith does away with anxiety. Blessings to you today.